God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Welcome. Today's Thanksgiving 2023, and I just want to take a minute to talk about how gratitude and the perspective of gratitude has changed my life. When I was in addiction, I was very ungrateful. I was just miserable. My life was just a wreck. I had burned every bridge in my life. I wasn't living a life of meaning or purpose. I had lost custody of my daughter. I was destroying my health. I couldn't keep a job, couldn't keep any money. Uh, you know, didn't have good mental health or physical health. I was in a dark, dark place. And when I got arrested behind a robbery charge, I was looking at some significant time, and it was an opportunity for me to take a step back and to reevaluate my life. And, honestly, that having that reset and like a moment of clarity that I had an opportunity to change the direction of my life started this train of gratitude, and it became a whole perspective switch in my life. Um, I instantly became grateful that I was no longer on the streets, that I had been removed from active addiction in the way that, I was powerless. So if I was free, I was going to be drinking, smoking weed, and abusing narcotics. I couldn't stay out of the liquor store to literally save my life. So I was grateful that I didn't even have the option anymore. I was grateful that I did have an option to change. I was grateful to have breath in my lungs. You know, I reached out to a higher power in there and asked him to come into my life to show me how to live clean and sober. To help me to live a life of sobriety one day at a time. And I was grateful for that opportunity. I was grateful to still have an opportunity, and I didn't know if I was ever going to get custody of my daughter back. I didn't know if I would ever get out of jail or prison or where I was headed, but I knew where I had been, and I knew I wasn't going back there. And I knew that I had an opportunity at that time to get and stay clean and sober. And that's the decision that I made right there and then, that I was going to come out of this situation clean and sober, and I was not going to go back to that old way of life. That it didn't matter how much time I did or if I ever got my daughter back, that I was going to come out of this situation clean and sober and a better man for it. And, from there, my whole perspective changed. And when I asked God to come into my life and sought him out, he answered, and he started to show up and reveal himself to me daily in my life through literature, through prayer and meditation. I was having deja vu a lot at the time. Um, Mind you, it could have been I was just coming off of drugs, but you know, to me, I saw it as like a sign that I'm doing the right things and that I'm heading in the right direction. And I was getting a lot of prayers answered through meditation at the time, and it was just a wake up call for me. And so I started praying a lot, day and night, and I changed all the habits, right? And when I changed these habits in my thinking first and foremost, because I was trapped in negative thinking behaviors. So, having a pessimistic outlook on life in general, and then attracting negative dark energy towards me, because I was constantly involved in conflict and chaos. I had become addicted uh, to chaos and craziness. I love the excitement. I loved the drama. You know, there's no better drama than the coke block. There's no better drama than the streets. And I became entangled in that life and had become used to it. So I needed to change all of those behavior patterns. And it started with practicing gratitude, like waking up and being grateful to have another day, being grateful for this opportunity of this day to live clean and sober, to make better decisions, and to, do my best to develop positive habits in my life. And for me, that looked like, waking up, prayer, meditation, praying prayers of gratitude just to start my day. And when you pray in gratitude, like, you feel good because you're feeling grateful for what you have, even if you don't have much. And mind you, I was in jail, so I didn't have much. I had burned every bridge. I didn't have anything to look forward to except the day. And it's what I needed. It's exactly where I needed to be. And God knew that. And that's why he put me there, to get clean and sober. And I was grateful for that, and it took time to realize that. But, through working the steps of Narcotics Anonymous, I became grateful for my snitch ass co-defendant, and I wrote him a letter before I got out, basically forgiving him for having ratted on me, because if he had not ratted on me, I wouldn't have been able to have this moment of clarity and to have had this time in the hole and in jail, and had this opportunity to, clean up all the shit and trauma of my past, and come to terms with my reality, and come to terms with my God, and find sobriety, and like find this healing, had he not ratted on me, and I seen him when I got out, and I gave that dude a hug. Jerry Helton, I send mine, dog, wherever the fuck you're at, and my other co-defendant, I'll leave her anonymous, but she's sober today too, and she has a daughter, and so 2 out of 3 of us came out of that situation clean and sober, and if that's not God, I don't know what is. But just practicing these daily habits, and the shifting of the perspective. 2 people can have gone through the same thing and have totally different outlooks. Go through the same households with the same parents and have 2 totally different lifestyles, have 2 totally different perspectives on reality. And it's all about, the energy that you're putting out. So like I said, I was trapped in that negative energy, so I needed to start putting out that positive energy. And so, and it started with gratitude, being grateful for the things that I had just in that moment. Even if it's just the breath in your lungs, even if it's just waking up one more day, being able to walk, having legs. We take so much stuff for granted, and you realize that if you get sick or injured, like, man, I was taking my lungs for granted, until you get a real nasty cough. And then you're like, holy cow, man, I just wish I could breathe, just having mental clarity, not being stuck in addiction and being stuck in anxiety, having food, having shelter, all these things. There's so many different things you can be grateful for. The sun, fresh air, a light breeze, some shade on a hot day, a vehicle, somebody to call that's going to answer a call when you reach out to them, having a higher power, having a creator, having this opportunity. Dude, I'm so grateful for these programs. I'm so grateful for Jesus Christ. I'm so grateful for all the people that have come before me that have paved the way for recovery, So when I began to practice these habits of gratitude, I started putting out this positive energy and like having an optimistic outlook on life. And sure enough, that energy started coming back to me, and the more you put out, the more you get back. That's the law of attraction, right? And there's been lots of books written on this. It's a physical science, the law of attraction. We have a reticulating activator system in our minds, that allows us to see things repeatedly. If you ever like go shopping for a vehicle and say you want a red Toyota Tacoma, 4-wheel drive, extra cab, whatever, you'll start seeing that car all over the place. You'll be like, I never knew there were so many stinking red Toyota Tacomas out here. And that's because your brain is wired to notice those things. And so the same things happen, with other parts of life. And so the more that you're seeking out things to be grateful for, the more things the universe will give you to be grateful for, you know? And I'm living proof of that. The more that I practice gratitude in my life, and I'm grateful for things in my life, the more God has given me to be grateful for. And I know that the other part of that works just the same, because I was stuck in darkness. I was stuck in violence. I was stuck in greed and manipulation and the pleasure seeking, the lust of the flesh, all that. And when I put that negative energy out there, I got that negative energy back, in the same amount, if not more. But, thankfully it works on the positive tip too. And the more I try to align my will with God's will today and try to live righteously, and I'm grateful for everything that I have, the good, the bad, the ugly, we just take it in stride and roll with the punches, And I've come to learn that, to be grateful for the good times and the bad, because even if I don't understand, why I'm going through a hard time at one point in my life, I know that God has the answer and God has the plan, and I just walk in that faith that my Creator has the vision. And even if it's not working out in my favor, it's working out in His favor ultimately. And I'm 100% on board with that regardless. And I don't have all the answers, but I know that my Father in heaven does. And I'm just trying to be obedient to His plan and to be obedient to His purpose, and to, expand the kingdom of God, and to help, draw people towards Him, through recovery, and try to be the best possible person that I can. And I'm not who I want to be, all the way, but I'm not who I once was either. I was full of darkness and anger, and like I said, greed and violence. And I still have some of that inside me, but I'm a work in progress, and I'm a lot better than I used to be. And today I have an awareness that when I am acting out in the flesh and I'm acting out in my will, I'm able to see that and put a stop to it and change directions, and repent for those things and say I'm sorry, and change, whereas before I would just double down on that behavior and say, and manipulate the situation to turn it on you, gaslight you, manipulate you to make you feel like you're in the wrong, whether I was wrong or not. I'm just always trying to get my own way, and it never led me anywhere positive long term. Might be some short term gains through living that way, but it never ends up being the way that I want in the long run. And so, today, the more that I try to align my will with God's will, the better my life has gotten. The more that I practice gratitude in my life, the more thankful I am, the more things I'm given to be thankful for. And, this has been an incredible journey. And, I'm so incredibly blessed in my life today. It's been a hell of a year. I got married, had a son. We live in a beautiful house. My business is successful. My health, beautiful family. I've been blessed to be able to be of service. When I first got sober, I made a covenant with God that if you help me to get sober, use me as a vehicle and as a conduit to help other people get and stay sober. Use me as a vessel of recovery. Help me to be a beacon of light in the community to help lead other addicts who are trapped in the darkness, to come to the light and to find some healing and recovery in their lives, and to ultimately find God, And the beautiful thing about recovery, and, one of the things that I'm very grateful for, is all the pain and turmoil and agony that I put myself and my family through doesn't have to be in vain, because we can turn that pain into purpose. The things that the devil used against us, God will flip the script and use it in a powerful way. And all the tragedy and trauma that I've been through, I have overcome those things, and I get to turn that pain into purpose by showing other addicts who are still trapped and lost in their ways that there is a way out, that you can recover. The lie is dead. You know what I mean? And we never have to live that way anymore. You know, we can do this one day at a time together with God and with each other. And today I'm just so grateful and thankful to be alive, to be here, you know, right here, right now in a studio on Thanksgiving. You know, had a blessed day with the family. And, you know, I'm just really looking forward to the future. And, you know, I feel like I've received blessings, and I only have more to come and more to give. So, you know, if you're out there and you had a rough Thanksgiving, I know how it feels. You know what I mean? I've spent multiple Thanksgivings incarcerated, lonely, you know, nobody to call, or felt like I had nobody to call, you know, just lost and empty inside. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out, you know, and it starts with that awareness that you need help, you know what I mean, and that you are powerless and that your life is unmanageable. And then having the awareness that there is a power greater than yourself that can restore you to sanity. And, you know, and if you're willing to take these simple steps, they're simple, but they're not easy. You know, it's a simple program, but it's difficult. You know, it's hard to take a good hard look at yourself. It's hard to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself about your past. It's hard to look at, you know, past relationships and to become honest and realize, man, I was the problem, or just own up to your part in these relationships. You know, it's not easy to put down character defects on a piece of paper. It's not easy to come into these rooms, in a room full of strangers, and raise your hand and say you need help to another man or woman. You know, it's not easy to talk about our problems, you know, but when we get to the point where we're willing to do whatever it takes to get and stay sober, then we're willing to take certain steps that we haven't taken before. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to stay clean and sober, because I never want to feel that way again, you know. And I've found some peace and serenity within my life today. And, you know, once I got that, I just never wanted to let it go, you know. And I've unlocked the key on how to feel that way. And today I just want to help other people feel that way as well, because I felt how you felt, you know. I've bled like you bled. I've been lonely, broken, and tired, and hopeless, you know. And I'm here to tell you there's a way out, and we do recover, you know. And it's just one day at a time, one step at a time, you know, one foot in front of the other. And it starts with having gratitude for where you're at, and like having gratitude for that pain. You know, I've learned so many hard lessons in my life through the pain. You know, I have I don't want to say no remorse or, you know, no regrets, because if I could go back, I would change things. But, you know, I am grateful for the pain that I went through, because it turned me into the man that I am today. Without the pain that I went through in my life, I don't know if I would have been able to reach out to my creator the way that I did. You know, I don't know if I ever would have gotten to the place that I'm in today had I not gone through the things that I went through, and continue to go through, you know, continue to grow through. You know, when times get difficult in my life, I know that this is a growing season. You know, like I'm going through these issues for a reason, because I know that there's something to learn from this event that I need to learn, you know. And I try to have that perspective of gratitude and be thankful for everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, I'm thankful for all my feelings today, all my emotions, you know. I'm thankful for fear and anxiety and pain and drama and trauma and all those negative emotions too, because they teach us things, you know. They help us to be aware of things. We have those feelings and emotions for a reason, and we have to pay attention to them. And if we don't like the way that we feel, and we don't like the way that our life is going, then we need to be aware enough to change direction, you know. And it all starts with having that awareness, and then being willing to take certain steps in order to change, you know. And some of the basic ones are obviously having prayers of gratitude to your creator, you know, just having that opportunity, and then taking daily inventory and changing your daily habits. being rigorously honest with yourself and other people, being aware of the way that you're talking to yourself, and then giving yourself an opportunity to succeed, by eating well, by sleeping well, by having healthy relationships, cutting out negativity, being aware of the things that you're putting into your brain. If your main source of information is from national news media outlets, that's a good indicator that you're probably going to have some fear and paranoia and anxiety about the world, right? But, for myself, I listen to a lot of sermons. I listen to a lot of motivational stuff. I watch, videos on things that I'm into, and I try to practice gratitude and have a perspective of optimism, in my life. And along with those things, exercising has just been an absolute cornerstone of my life and my recovery. It helps me with my mental health. When I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling aggressive, angry, whatever, I go get a good hard workout in, and my whole perspective changes. Nobody has ever had an anxiety attack while running a marathon. My brother Wes Watson says the pump is the cure. The pump is the cure to the way that I feel. Drugs and alcohol are no longer the cure. The pump is the cure. When I'm feeling any type of way, I can always go get a hard workout in and change the way that I feel. When I go run with no headphones in or whatever it is, and I'm able to process these emotions that I'm feeling and in a healthy way, right? Because that's where we're trying to get to, is be able to process these feelings and emotions in a positive way without reaching for drugs and alcohol, without committing violent crimes, without, imposing negative emotions on anybody else. We're trying to live life on life's terms without having to reach for anything. And, it all starts with the perspective change, right? And then, reinforcing these these daily habits. So, take a look at your life and take a look at your habits. Take a look at the people that you're spending time with. Take a look at the information that you're putting in your brain and in your heart. And be aware of all that and be honest about it. And then just start practicing gratitude in your daily life, and it could start with the small things. Start with anything around you, just the way that you feel, just to be alive, to have legs, arms, all these fingers, cognition, everything, a tongue, sight, hearing, all your senses, relationships with other people, relationships with your higher power, vehicles. There's so much to be grateful for, guys. And having a perspective of optimism, like have a perspective of optimism that things are going to work out in your favor. Believe that and see that, right? That law of attraction, like you're going in, if you have things going on in the future, try to put yourself in that position in your mind first. Like, see yourself getting that job. You know what I mean? Feel yourself driving that new car. Like, what does it feel like? What does that leather feel like? You know what I mean? What's it feel like when you smash the gas in that freaking Lambo? You know what I mean? Like, roll down that window and feel the breeze in your hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, really feel yourself pulling up to that new house. Like the smile on your wife's face when you hand her those car keys. You know what I mean? Put yourself in those positions before you ever get there, over and over. You could do it every day, and practice that law of attraction. Make a vision board. Put all the things that you want on paper. Put them on a wall. Print those pictures out and really, say thank you for already having them before you ever get them. Those are real things successful people do, and they work. It's a real thing. So what you put out, you get back, and it starts with having that gratitude. So start your day with gratitude and end your day with gratitude, and be grateful for everything, good and bad, and if you're struggling with addiction and you're looking for change, reach out to me, reach out to one of these 12-step programs, and just know that we do recover, guys, one day at a time, together with God. Thank you.
Victorious we became, but never forgot where we came from. Life or death, not a game. We came to change the lane. Recovery addicts, that's the name. Give yourself a break, just one day at a time. You were born to shine, so live and let love be forever. My sister, my brother, don't give in. Please remember, the lie is dead. We do recover. Welcome home.